Hey, what's up, Journey Gang? Welcome back to another Heart to Heart. I'm your host, Life, and today, I got a very special person joining me. She is a powerful singer-songwriter. She is a performing artist, you guys, a radiant soul, and someone I absolutely adore, who happens to be my bonus aunt. She is the real deal. Welcome, Miss Anjie Stylez.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, family. It's a blessing to be here with you, Life. Thank you for having me. You
Yes.
already know I'm a fan of your show. And when you told me the topic today was self doubt, I was like, yes, let's talk about it.
Absolutely. This is a deep one, okay? Because we're talking about self doubt and trusting yourself again, and maybe even for the first time. Because the truth is, you can't manifest the life you love and truly develop as the better version of you or the new version of you unless you are sure that you're worthy of it, right? Or that you can handle it when it does show up. Before we get into that, though, I do want you to give the audience just a little bit of backstory, a little history on Miss Anjie Stylez. And so let's give you a couple minutes to do that first.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Anjie Stylez. I am a singer, songwriter, spoken word artist, and soon to be published author. I have a growing channel on YouTube, Accessorize with Anjie Stylez. Um, and I feature a lot of musical videos and music collaborations with different people on YouTube. And also, I feature a little bit of everything. I have Gourmet 85, where I feature a lot of gourmet meals as well. So it's more about lifestyle, entertainment, and just a little weekly chat that I have where I talk about becoming your best self. So that's what I'm doing, and that's who I am.
That's what connects her to us and this journey gang. She is actually speaking our language, okay? So I want you guys to go over there and check her out. Today's topic, we're talking about self-doubt and how to release that self-doubt and become the best version of yourself. So let's talk about what self-doubt can sound like, okay? Because a lot of times it does sound like something that you're used to hearing. So it doesn't sound alarming, right? It can
Right.
sound like I'm not ready. They're better at that than me. What if I
Mm,
mess up? Those are some little things that can really promote self doubt and help you stay stuck, right? And the wild part is it doesn't feel like self doubt. It can show up as over preparing, asking someone else's opinion, not taking any action at all. That's the one I'd be having problems with.
exactly. That's that procrastination thing.
Literally. So those are the things that you have
Yeah,
to look out for. And that's a lot of things that we talk about, Miss Angie. We talk about awareness, right? Being able
yeah.
to hear yourself saying those things that equal self-doubt and putting a stop to it.
Absolutely. And I used to think I was just being cautious about things, but deep down inside, I was really terrified. I was afraid to release my music for fear of being criticized, not thinking my music was good enough for all the music critics of the world, and afraid to be seen because of all my insecurities. I look too fat, or I don't really look the part, and I would tell myself, okay, I'm just going to wait for the right time and I'll do it later. But that right time was just an excuse for my lack of confidence and my lack of belief in myself. And it was that crippling self doubt that
Right.
always seems to creep up.
Right, exactly. Same here. I mean, there's been so many projects that I let sit on the shelf and it was all because of self-doubt. I didn't like some of the things about my looks. And so that hindered me from recording a lot of content and really pushing myself as the content creator that I am, right?
Yeah, me too.
And
I
it
dealt with that same thing.
yeah. And you know what helped me to shift was realizing that self doubt and confidence can exist at the same time. So I can have a little bit of doubt. I can give myself that
Mhm.
grace, but I can still make those moves, right?
Absolutely.
So let's take this time to ask the audience a question. Okay. I got a question for y'all. Have you ever talked yourself out of something that you really wanted to do? I've done that several times. Have you experienced that at all, Angie?
Goodness, all the time. And for years, I mean, I really felt like I was really getting in my own way so many times where it was so many things that I could have accomplished, but that second guessing myself, that self doubt got in the way. I got in my own way. So
Right.
yes, so many things that I could put on my resume that are not there because of me.
Right.
Of me.
Right. And that's, we're literally like, you're the only person that can tell you no. And that's
Right.
what's crazy about this. It's like
It
we're
is pretty
doubting
crazy.
ourselves for no reason.
No reason at all. I think we bought into whatever society, has put out there, and we
Yep.
bought into it, and we, instead of believing in ourselves and knowing what we're capable of doing, we bought into it and we sat down and did nothing.
Exactly. And so that segues right into the next little segment of the podcast because we're talking about where self doubt comes from. You weren't born with self doubt, it was learned.
That's right. Maybe you had a parent or teacher who never praised or encouraged you, which contributes greatly to self-doubt and lack of confidence. I know that was definitely my experience as a child. So, or maybe
Mine
you
too.
saw somebody go after their dream and they got torn down. So you decided, you know what, it's safer for me to just stay low key and not pursue my dreams fully. That fear again.
Right. And we have no idea how deep and how strong the subconscious mind is. So when you mention stuff like you saw somebody who tried it and that got ingrained into your mind, like,
Hmm.
they failed at that. So let me just chill. I don't want to experience failure. But if
Hmm.
you don't fail, you'll never succeed. You have to fail.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have to stop being afraid to fail throughout this
That's
life.
so true. So true.
According to Dr. Brene Brown, self doubt grows in environments where shame is present. So if you were constantly criticized, like on Angie mentioned, you were compared or made to feel like you just weren't enough, your mind starts protecting you by saying, don't even try. Don't speak. Just stay in your lane, chill.
Yeah.
And that's not protection, it's a cage.
Mm, that is so powerful.
I
Yes,
can
you actually,
feel like I can feel that cage around me sometimes when, when
yeah,
I'm doubting myself.
absolutely. And we seem to put ourselves in these cages all the time. It's by our stinking thinking, what they call it. You know,
Stinking
your,
thinking.
your stinking thinking will keep you caged in and never be free of just becoming who you truly are.
That's powerful. That's powerful. But let's share what happens when you do trust yourself. I want to tell you about a friend of mine. She was stuck in her job. That job drained her spirit. She literally cried every time she had to go to work every morning. Every morning is crazy. That's
Okay.
why I could not live like that.
Yes.
So she had a dream of starting her own business, but she kept doing that double dutching, as Jaden would say. She kept hearing those
Mhm.
whisperings of saying, "You're not certified. You know you don't have enough experience. You know people are not going to trust you." So one day, after a stressful shift at the job she hated, she sat in her car and she cried. She was telling me about how she really wanted to live that dream, pursue her dreams, that she hated the job. And so she started doing IG Live. She started small, but she stepped out of that self doubt slowly but surely. And now she is successful at living her dream life. And so I just want to point that out about her because all of us have experienced that at some point in life.
Absolutely. So I'm really proud of her. She finally did it. Yeah. So, yep, I have a similar story of one of my friends that was in the music business, still is. She was terrified of performing live. And I mean, like, super insecure, full on panic attacks.
Oh, wow.
And her dream was to sing on stage with a live band. That's what her true dream was. So eventually, she did get some courage, and she became a background singer for an upcoming artist. She started doing live shows with him, and it started building her confidence little by little. And then she finally got enough courage to start recording her own music at a local studio, posting it on SoundCloud, and then once she started receiving this positive feedback for her different tracks that she had put out there, it started building that belief in her. And her belief in herself started getting stronger and stronger. A few years after that, she started doing this live shows, and she did one in New York, which is the hardest place
I
to
could
perform.
only imagine.
When I tell you they are hard critics, they are hardcore. They like you or they hate you. So she did a show in New York in front of a huge audience. She was shaking. She was a wreck, okay? But she did it. She got out there and did it, and she brought the house down. And
Wow.
after the show, she said to me, her fear was still there, but her faith in herself
Mm.
became so much stronger from just doing that one show and getting that feedback. That was all she needed to get out of her own way and stop feeling that.
That gives me chills. That gives me absolute chills. I love that. She did
Yeah.
it afraid, you
Yeah.
know?
Sometimes you just got to jump in there and go all the way in. Don't stick your big toe in. Just jump all the way in and just do it.
Right. Let's ask the audience another question. What would your life look like if you fully trusted yourself? Like, no second guessing, no explaining, just owning your power. Okay. Whether you're
Mm.
watching on Spotify, you're here on YouTube, I want you to answer that question down in the comments.
You might not even realize you're rebuilding trust with yourself, but here are some signs. One, you stop looking for constant approval from people. Two, you can start saying no without feeling guilty, which is one of my things. That was like the
Yes.
hardest thing for me. I'm still working on that one. Three, you make decisions and don't immediately question it. So you're not second
Mm,
guessing your decisions. And then you celebrate your growth, even the little baby steps. Every single step should be celebrated. And that's how you keep on building that confidence and getting rid of that self doubt. And let me
mhm.
add this one, you feel more peaceful. Not because life is easier, but because you're finally in alignment.
Yes.
That's very key.
That is a dope realization to come to, right? To realize that you do need
Mhm.
that alignment and that it's
Definitely.
okay to celebrate each little win. Let me tell you guys a real quick story. When I first started YouTube, I signed up to be an Amazon influencer and I had posted some links in a few places and when I tell you I made 22 cents within like my first month, I think I made 22 cents and I was ecstatic. Okay. And it's only because I realized the potential. If I can make 22 cents and I can make $22, I can make $2,200, $22,000. So once you just hone in on those little small wins and you appreciate them, you celebrate them, and they grow. That's a thing called momentum. It kind of snowballs. That just reminded me of that, what you
That's
said.
so funny because I actually did the same thing, became an Amazon influencer, and I made 97 cents.
There we go. Okay, show off.
I was just laughing at that, like, wow, we both did the same thing. Yeah.
It's a big deal. The fact that we even filled out that Amazon influencer application because there's so many people who are like, well, I don't have enough followers for that. That's step number one. And we believed in ourselves enough to even fill that thing out. Okay.
Absolutely. They don't make it easy
Mhm.
and simple for you to do it. So you had to really, really want to. And that's
Right.
another thing. You have to really want to be these things that you want to be, that you say you want to be. Okay.
Wait a minute.
You have to
That's
speak
powerful.
truth
Let's
to
pause
yourself.
there.
Speak truth to yourself.
That's powerful. I want to unpack that just a little bit because what she
Mhm.
said was you have to want to. And so I know that a lot of people are doubtful because they're not even doing the thing that they actually want to do.
Exactly.
They are doing something that they think other people want them to do, or maybe their parents.
Right.
I hear that so much. My parents wanted
Yes.
me to be a lawyer or an engineer or something. And this is what I want to do though.
I grew up being what my mother wanted me to be. The other Angie was like, no, this is what you want to do. And it was a hard fight trying to please her and doing what I wanted to do, pleasing myself. So you're living
Mhm.
for your parents or you're living for, whoever it is in your life that you look up to. Got to be selfish at some point. You've got to be selfish and say, I'm going to do me. I'm going to do
Right.
me. It's most important because life is short.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no one else is going to do you. No
No
one.
one, no one is going to do
And they
you.
shouldn't, right?
No.
So this is powerful. Now, let's get practical, okay? If you've been living in self doubt, here are some real ways, some practical ways that you can start trusting yourself again. Number one, keep small promises to yourself. Say you'll stretch for 5 minutes a day, do it. And then once you start actually doing it, you'll build that trust with yourself and you'll start actually believing yourself. Track your wins. When you journal these things out, maybe you put it in your computer on a notepad, just track those wins so that you can see them. You can do examples like I spoke up at that meeting. I rested when I was tired, which is hard for a lot of us if you're adults and you have a life, okay? I
Right.
told my truth. That reminds your brain that you're powerful.
Yeah.
Affirm your wisdom out loud. Tell yourself out loud because a lot of lot of times we think these things, and that's okay too. But try to say out loud, I trust my voice. My inner guidance is sacred. Even when I'm unsure, I trust myself to figure it out. That way, you're building that trust, you're pumping yourself up, and your subconscious mind hears that. And they're like, oh, she believes in herself. Oh, she's confident. Oh, she's secure. Okay.
Mhm.
Then your subconscious mind is going to give you more reasons to believe that. And then create space for intuition. That means less noise. That's why we talk so much about the things you consume, whether it's music, TV, your phone, the apps and everything. Be cautious of the things that you consume, so that way you create space for listening to your inner guidance. That has been so huge for me, listening to my inner guidance at that moment, like not in real time, but quickly.
That makes so much sense. Absolutely. It's important to start taking those steps to trust ourselves, even if we don't feel we deserve it. Because remember, self-trust isn't about never messing up. It's about knowing you can come back home to yourself again and again. Like you can keep doing a redo. So it's never a mess up that you can't clean up. That's one way to look at it. Let this be gentle, y'all. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Just plant one seed of trust one day at a time, starting with today. Live in the present and just work on that day, one day at a time.
And we talked about that in a recent short. Your life is made up of a sum of those present moments. So you don't have to think of the sum, just each moment, just add them together. It will build it to something, okay? And if you build it, they will come. Believe that. All right, Journey Gang. Here's our challenge for the week. We love a good challenge on this podcast. So choose one area that you've been avoiding. This is about awareness. Do one thing in that area that honors your inner voice. Cool.
Okay.
Really simple. And then share that with us on social media using the hashtag #LoveYourselfTrust.
Absolutely. This was powerful, Life. Thank you for creating a space where we can be honest with each other, unpack the hard stuff, and leave with more clarity than we came in with.
And thank you, Angie. Your voice, your wisdom, your energy is everything. Thank you for joining me on this powerful episode.
Oh, you're very welcome. And to everybody listening, you already have what it takes. You don't need outside permission from anyone to believe in yourself. It's already yours. Believe that. Yes.
Right. Now, the next episode is about the energy of self-love. It's all about protecting your vibe and letting go of negativity. So tune in for the next episode of the Love Yourself podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys all for being here. Until then, keep loving yourself, keep trusting your voice, one little whisper at a time. And remember that you're not behind. You're becoming. Yeah. We love you. Bye, y'all.
Love you all. All right. Have a beautiful night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.